Seoul after midnight is a creature of neon and shadow, where glass towers scrape heaven while darkness pools in the alleys below. In Gangnam's beating heart, where champagne flows like rivers and secrets cost more than diamonds, one name commands absolute silence: Kwon Hyun-woo. They call him the Ice King. The Untouchable. The man who rebuilt Seoul's underworld from blood-soaked rubble into an empire of steel and silk. His club, Aurora Pulse, isn't just a venue, it's a throne room where deals worth billions are sealed between bass drops, where politicians and criminals alike bow to the rhythm he orchestrates. Crystal chandeliers rain light over bodies pressed together in desperate worship of the night, but Hyun-woo watches it all from his private glass booth above, cold as the January wind cutting through the Han River. Women have tried. God, how they've tried. Heiresses draped in Cartier, models whose faces launch empires, actresses who could seduce nations, all have thrown themselves at his feet like offerings to a god carved from ice. He looks through them, past them. His dark eyes, sharp enough to cut glass, never linger, never soften. Not since the night 5 years ago when a rival's bullet meant for him found her instead. His first love, his only vulnerability, bleeding out on rain-slicked pavement while sirens screamed and his world turned to ash. Since then? Nothing. No one. Just the empire, expanding like frost across every dark corner of the city. Tonight the club pulses with a special energy. A masked charity gala, Seoul's elite playing dress-up while Hyun-woo's syndicate launders power through champagne toasts. The DJ booth has been prepared for someone unexpected, a last-minute booking his events manager swore would change everything. Then the lights cut to crimson. A single spotlight ignites, and she walks onto the stage like a goddess claiming her temple. Nia Adebayo. Lagos-born, world-traveled, untamed. Her skin glows like polished mahogany under the lights, her hair a crown of braids adorned with golden cuffs that catch the strobes like trapped starlight. She wears confidence like armor, leather and silk molded to curves that could start wars, eyes fierce enough to make kings kneel. But it's when her hands touch the decks that the room forgets how to breathe. The beat drops. Not K-pop. Not house. Something primal, ancient, Afrobeat fused with electronic thunder, drums that sound like war and heartbeats in the beginning of worlds. The crowd erupts, bodies moving like a single organism possessed by her rhythm. She commands them without words, a queen conducting her kingdom through sound alone. And for the first time in 5 years, Kwon Hyun-woo feels something. His hand freezes on his whiskey glass. His pulse, usually a metronome of control, stumbles. From his booth high above, his eyes lock onto her. This impossible woman who moves like music made flesh, who grins at the chaos she creates, who seems to see him through the crowd, through the glass, through every wall he's built around his frozen heart. Their eyes meet across the strobing darkness. The world stops. Who is she? How does she make 1,000 people bow with just a beat? And why does the Ice King suddenly feel like he's standing on melting ground? Now drop a comment below. Where in the world are you tuning in from tonight? And if you were the untouchable boss suddenly facing a force like her, would you fight the pull, or let it consume you? Morning breaks over Seoul like a blade through silk, slicing through the penthouse windows of Hyun-woo's high-rise fortress. He stands before floor-to-ceiling glass, the city sprawling beneath him like a conquered kingdom. His kingdom built from the ruins of blood feuds and broken alliances. 40 floors below, ordinary people chase ordinary dreams. Up here, he orchestrates their fates with phone calls that could topple corporations, deals that redraw the invisible map of Seoul's underworld. The Velvet Viper Syndicate wasn't always his. His father had ruled it with brutality and paranoia, turning allies into enemies until a coalition of rivals put bullets through his skull during Hyun-woo's 20th year. The young heir had two choices: die or evolve. He chose evolution, transforming his father's crumbling criminal network into something more sophisticated, more untouchable. A hybrid empire where legitimate business ventures provided cover for operations that greased the wheels of Seoul's true power structure. Now, at 32, Hyun-woo controls Aurora Pulse, 3 sister clubs across Asia, real estate holdings worth hundreds of millions, and a network of informants that spans from the Blue House to the docks of Busan. He wears Tom Ford suits that cost more than cars, his black hair swept back to reveal a face women call beautiful and men call terrifying. A thin scar cuts through his left eyebrow, the only visible mark from the night that killed his heart. Park Ji-ah. Her name still tastes like ash and roses. They'd been 23, reckless, convinced love could survive in the crossfire of warring syndicates. She'd been an artist, painting murals that transformed gray Seoul walls into gardens of impossible color. When the phantom blades came for him outside her studio, she'd stepped between the gun and his chest. The bullet took 3 seconds to steal her breath. He'd held her while rain mixed with blood on the pavement, her paint-stained fingers going cold in his hands. He'd executed every member of the hit squad within 48 hours. But revenge couldn't bring her back. So he buried his heart beside her and promised the grave he'd never be weak again. His phone vibrates. Min Jae-sung, his head of security and closest thing to a friend, with the morning report. The gala brought in 12 million won in donations, Jae-sung's gravelly voice reports. Plus 3 new contracts with the Incheon shipping families. Clean as silk. And the DJ? The question escapes before Hyun-woo can stop it. Pause. Nia Adebayo. 28. Nigerian-born, based in Lagos until 6 months ago. Residencies in Ibiza, London, Dubai. No criminal record, no debts, no syndicate affiliations. She's clean boss. A genuine artist. Genuine. The word feels foreign in Hyun-woo's world where everyone wants something, where every smile hides a transaction. She's requested a meeting about extending her Seoul appearance, Jae-sung continues. Wants to discuss a month-long residency at Aurora Pulse. Hyun-woo's jaw tightens. He should refuse. Should maintain the distance he keeps from everyone, especially women who make his carefully controlled world feel suddenly unstable. But his mouth forms different words. Set it up. Tonight. Private room. Nia has learned to read cities like sheet music, each one with its own rhythm, its own soul. Seoul vibrates differently than Lagos, where she grew up shouting over market vendors and finding beats in the chaos of a million people chasing survival. Lagos taught her hustle, taught her that talent without strategy is just noise. Her father sold electronics in Computer Village. Her mother braided hair under a tin roof while Afrobeat legends poured from crackling speakers. Nia would sit for hours, headphones on, deconstructing the patterns, learning how Fela Kuti could make a nation dance and rebel simultaneously. At 16, she'd started mixing at underground clubs in Victoria Island, blending traditional juju drums with electronic bass that made the floors sweat. By 21, a viral video of her Lagos set caught the attention of a London promoter. She'd left Nigeria with one suitcase and a promise to her mother. I'll make our name ring across the world. 7 years later, she's played Tomorrowland, Coachella, secret parties in Dubai penthouses. But something about Seoul called to her. The way K-pop had conquered the globe with relentless precision, the fusion of ancient tradition and cyberpunk future. She'd come seeking inspiration, maybe a residency at one of the underground clubs in Hongdae. Instead, Aurora Pulse found her. The booking agent had been vague about the owner, just that he ran things in Gangnam and could pay triple her usual rate for a one-night showcase. Nia doesn't usually do charity galas. Too stuffy, too safe. But the money was too good to refuse, and her instincts hummed with possibility. Then she'd seen him. The man in the glass booth, watching the crowd with eyes like a predator who'd forgotten how to hunger. While everyone else lost themselves in her music, he'd remained perfectly still, a statue of control in a sea of abandon. But when their eyes met, just for that electric second, she'd seen something crack in his expression. Something vast and lonely, like an ocean frozen mid-wave. Now, stretched across silk sheets in her hotel suite at the Park Hyatt, Nia scrolls through Korean news sites with her phone's translator working overtime. Kwon Hyun-woo doesn't appear in many photos, but the few she finds tell stories. Always alone. Always impeccably dressed. Always surrounded by men who move like soldiers. The articles dance around what he actually does, using euphemisms like entertainment mogul and real estate investor. But Nia's been in enough cities, played enough clubs where champagne and cocaine flow equally freely, to recognize power that doesn't advertise itself. This man doesn't just own a club. He owns something much larger, much darker. She should be careful. Should take her payment from last night and book the next flight to somewhere safer, somewhere without men whose eyes hold winter storms. Instead, she calls her agent and requests a meeting about extending her soul run. Some rhythms you can't walk away from even when they promise to break you. Aurora pulse transforms in daylight. The neon gods sleep. Natural light reveals the architecture beneath. Soaring ceilings, imported marble, design that whispers money in every line. Nia arrives at 8 p.m. sharp, wearing amber silk that drapes like liquid gold over her frame, her braids pulled back with a bronze cuff her grandmother gave her for protection. Min Jae-sung escorts her through halls where last night's abandon has been erased by cleaning crews, past security checkpoints that scan her with technology and suspicious eyes. Finally, a private dining room where crystal catches the last rays of sunset. Kwon Hyun-woo stands when she enters. Up close, he's more devastating than distance suggested. Sharp cheekbones, a mouth that probably forgot how to smile years ago, those dark eyes that seem to calculate her worth in milliseconds. His suit is charcoal perfection, a single silver watch his only jewelry, understated wealth, the kind that doesn't need to prove itself. Miss Adebayo. His English is flawless, accent polished smooth. Your performance last night was unexpected. Unexpected good or unexpected bad? She matches his formality with a smile that's pure Lagos audacity. Unexpected disruptive. He gestures to the chair across from him. You turned my exclusive charity gala into something resembling carnival. My guests are still talking about it. And that's bad for business? She sits, crosses her legs, watches him track the movement before his eyes snap back to her face. Actually, it's excellent for business. 3 families who've been avoiding my calls for months reached out this morning wanting meetings. Apparently your music made them receptive. Music does that. Breaks down walls. Makes people remember they have hearts. Something flickers in his expression. Pain, maybe, or recognition. Some walls exist for good reason. And some walls just make pretty prisons. The air between them tightens, charged with a current Nia recognizes from her music. The moment before the beat drops, when tension peaks and the whole room holds its breath. Hyun-woo pours wine, something old and French that probably costs more than her monthly rent. My manager says you want a residency. For weeks, 3 nights per week. Your terms are aggressive. I know my worth. So do I. He slides a contract across the table. I'm offering double your asking price. Plus accommodations, security, complete creative control over your sets. Nia reads the numbers, keeps her face neutral even though her heart stumbles. This is enough money to fund her dream, her own label back in Lagos, a platform for African artists who can't break into the global scene. What's the catch? No catch. Just business. But the way he's looking at her, like she's a puzzle he needs to solve before she detonates, suggests business is only part of the equation. She should negotiate, play it cool. Instead, honesty spills out. Why me? You could book any DJ in the world. For a long moment he's silent. Then, because when you played last night, I felt something I haven't felt in 5 years. I don't know if that makes you valuable or dangerous. Maybe both. Definitely both. His smile is barely there, a ghost of expression. Do we have a deal, Miss Adebayo? She thinks of the warning in her gut, the danger radiating from this beautiful, broken man. She thinks of her grandmother's voice. Some doors lead to destiny, child. Walk through them even if they burn. Nia picks up the pen. Call me Nia. And yes, we have a deal. Their hands meet over the signed contract. His skin is warm, his grip firm, and the contact sends electricity straight through her core. His pupils dilate slightly, the only crack in his armor. Welcome to Aurora Pulse, Hyun-woo says quietly. Try not to burn it down. No promises. Nia grins, fierce and bright. Fire is kind of my specialty. Soul becomes hers in pieces, each neighborhood a different tempo, each street corner a potential sample. During the days she explores the traditional markets of Namdaemun where Ajumma sell banchan and argue in rapid-fire Korean. The cafes of Hongdae where art students sketch over iced Americanos. The Han River parks where elderly couples do Tai Chi while teenagers blast K-hip-hop. But the nights belong to Aurora Pulse. Her residency launches on a Friday that feels electric from the first beat. She's transformed the DJ booth into something alive. Her laptop running custom visuals that respond to the music, LED panels she programmed herself to pulse with Afrocentric patterns, a sampler loaded with sounds collected from Lagos to London. When she drops her opening track, a fusion of traditional Nigerian drums with Seoul's underground hip-hop scene, the crowd doesn't just dance. They worship. From his booth, Hyunwoo watches. He's there every night she plays, conducting his empire between her sets, handshakes and whispered conversations, deals sealed with nods while below them, bodies move like waves following her moon. She catches his eyes during transitions, those moments when she's cueing the next track and can afford to look up. Each time he's already watching. It should unsettle her. Instead it thrills. After her second week, he requests another private meeting. This time, the dining room has become something softer. Candles instead of overhead lights, wine chilling in crystal, 2 plates of bulgogi prepared by a chef who apparently cooks exclusively for him. "You're changing my business model?" Hyunwoo says without preamble. "International clients are flying in just for your Thursday sets." The Yakuza representative from Tokyo asked if you're available for a private party. "And you said?" "I said no. You're mine until the contract ends." He pauses, seems to hear his own words. "The clubs. You're the clubs." Nia laughs, bright and unafraid. Possessive for a man who claims this is just business. "Everything is business in my world. Even this." She gestures between them, the tension so thick she could sample it. "The way you watch me like I'm a grenade with the pin pulled?" His jaw tightens. "You're observant. I'm a DJ. I read crowds, energy, the things people don't say." She leans forward. "You're terrified of me." "I'm not terrified of anything." "Liar." But she says it gently, without judgment. "What happened to you, Kwon Hyunwoo? Who hurt you badly enough that you turned yourself into ice?" For a moment she thinks he'll deflect, shut down. Instead he pours more wine and speaks words that sound like they're being pulled from somewhere deep. "Her name was Jia. She died because of me. Because in my world, love is a weakness that gets exploited, and I was weak enough to think I could protect her." His eyes meet Nia's, dark with old pain. "I learned better. So now you protect yourself by feeling nothing? It's effective. It's lonely. Loneliness doesn't kill you. Caring does." Nia reaches across the table, covers his hand with hers. He flinches but doesn't pull away. "In Lagos we have a saying, Ife ko elogan. Love has no medicine. No cure. You can't protect yourself from it by building walls. You just end up trapped inside them. You're very wise for 28. I'm very alive for 28. There's a difference." She squeezes his hand. "Let me show you what alive feels like again." "That sounds dangerous." "Good. Safe is boring." He actually smiles, small, fragile, real. "You're going to ruin me, aren't you?" "Completely," Nia promises. "But in the best way." The problem starts with Choi Sung-ho. The Phantom Blades have been circling for months, ever since Hyunwoo secured the Incheon port contracts they'd been negotiating. Sung-ho is old-school violent, knives and intimidation, brutality as business strategy. Where Hyunwoo evolved the syndicate game into something sophisticated, Sung-ho still believes in ruling through fear. The first attack is subtle. A shipment goes missing. 2 of Hyunwoo's lower-level operators get jumped outside a Gangnam karaoke bar. Messages, not massacres. Testing boundaries. Min Jae-sung delivers the report while Hyunwoo sits in his penthouse, trying to focus on quarterly projections and failing because his mind keeps drifting to Nia, the way she'd laughed at his darkness, refused to treat him like he's untouchable. Like he's dangerous. Like he's anything other than a man who's desperately lonely and too proud to admit it. "Sung-ho's getting bold," Jae-sung says, pouring them both whiskey. "He knows about the DJ. Word on the street is he's interested in why you're suddenly distracted." "I'm not distracted." Jae-sung raises an eyebrow. "You've attended the club personally 12 nights in a row. Before her you showed up maybe once a month. People notice, boss." Hyunwoo drains his glass. Jae-sung is right and they both know it. In the underworld, patterns are intelligence, and he's been creating a pattern that screams vulnerability. But the thought of not seeing Nia, not watching her command the crowd like a general directing an army of joy, it feels wrong in ways he can't articulate. "Increase her security detail," he finally says. "Make it look like standard protocol for high-value talent." "Already done." But boss. Jae-sung's expression goes serious. If Sung-ho thinks he can get to you through her, he won't. The words come out sharp as broken glass. No one touches her. The last time you said that about a woman? This is different. Is it? Hyunwoo doesn't have an answer that doesn't sound like the beginnings of something catastrophic. 2 nights later, Nia's set reaches transcendent heights. She's mixed Korean trot music, the traditional ballad style their grandparents loved, with Afrobeat percussion, creating something that shouldn't work but somehow captures Seoul's soul. The crowd is a frenzy, businessmen loosening ties beside college students, everyone equal under her musical spell. Hyunwoo finds himself downstairs for the first time in years, pushing through the crowd, drawn by a gravity he can't name. He reaches the stage just as her set ends and she sees him, and her face lights up with a smile that could power the city. "Come with me," he says, has to shout over the roar of applause. She doesn't question, just takes his outstretched hand. He leads her through back corridors, past security, up emergency stairs until they burst onto the roof. Seoul sprawls beneath them, a galaxy of lights that rivals the stars above. The bass from below thrums through their feet, a heartbeat from the earth itself. "This is my favorite place," Hyunwoo admits, and it feels like handing her a secret. "When the club gets too loud, too full of people wanting things, I come here. Remember what it looks like from above." Nia moves to the edge, fearless, arms spread like she could fly. It's beautiful. Like Lagos but colder. More organized. Lagos is chaos? Lagos is alive. Every second, a million stories happening at once. You can feel the hustle, the creativity, the desperation, the joy, all mixed together. She turns to him. "What does Seoul feel like to you?" "Like a machine. Efficient. Productive. Cold. And you? Do you feel like a machine?" You should say yes. Should maintain the fiction. Instead, he steps closer, close enough to smell her perfume. Something with vanilla and spice, warm and intoxicating. "I used to. Before you. And now. Now I feel, thought. And I don't know if that's good or terrifying. Why not both?" The wind whips her braids around her face. Without thinking, he reaches out, tucks them back, his fingers grazing her cheek. She inhales sharply, and he realizes how close they are, how easy it would be to close the distance, to taste the smile on her lips. "This is a bad idea," he whispers. "Probably the worst," she agrees. "People around me get hurt. People around me get changed. Guess we'll see who's stronger." He's leaning in, gravity and desire and 5 years of frozen loneliness pulling him forward. His phone screams. Jae-sung. Emergency tone. Hyunwoo answers, still staring into Nia's eyes. "What?" "Boss, we have a problem. Phantom blades just hit the Itaewon warehouse. 3 of our guys hospitalized. Sung-ho left a message." The ice reforms around his heart, instant and familiar. "I'm on my way." He ends the call, steps back from Nia, and the distance feels like miles. "I have to go." "Emergency." "The dangerous kind?" "The only kind I deal with." He gestures to his phone. "I'll have a car take you back to your hotel. Stay there. Lock the doors. Don't leave until I call." "Hyunwoo." "Please, Nia." And there it is, the thing he never says, "Please. Just this once, let me protect something." She searches his face, seems to find what she needs. "Okay. But you come back, you hear me? You come back and we finish this conversation." He allows himself one more look, her fierce, beautiful, alive in ways that make his chest ache, then turns and runs toward the violence he knows, leaving behind the vulnerability he doesn't. The war has begun. And this time he has something to lose. The attack on the warehouse should have scared her off. Should have sent her running back to Lagos or London, or anywhere that doesn't involve men with guns and territories drawn in blood. Instead, Nia finds herself deeper in Seoul's underworld than any outsider should venture. Hyunwoo tried to pull back after that night. Stopped attending her sets in person, communicated through Jae-sung, kept everything professional and distant. But his eyes, when they occasionally met across the club, told a different story, hungry, haunted, fighting a war with himself that he was slowly losing. Aurora Pulse has become legendary. International DJs now request to open for her. K-pop idols show up incognito. The club's revenue has tripled. Nia's social media explodes with footage from her sets, #NiaInSeoul trending globally. Record labels slide into her DMs with offers that would have seemed impossible 6 months ago. But success has a shadow. She notices them first during week 3. Men who watch too carefully, who don't dance, whose eyes track her movements with professional precision. Not Hyunwoo's security. Something else. Something predatory. Then come the messages. First on Instagram, pretty bird singing in the wrong cage. Fly away before someone clips your wings. Then an envelope at her hotel, a single photograph of her grandmother's house in Lagos, nothing else. The thread is clear, elegantly silent. She shows them to Hyunwoo during an emergency meeting in his penthouse. He goes absolutely still reading the messages, his face transforming into something carved from rage. "Sung-ho," he says quietly, and quiet from him is more terrifying than anyone else's scream. He's escalating. Trying to scare you away. It's not working. Nia. You think I haven't dealt with men trying to intimidate me? I grew up in Lagos. I've had promoters try to cheat me, drunk men try to assault me, industry sharks try to exploit me. I survived all of them. She stands, moves to where he's staring out at the city. I'm not running from this. From you. He turns and the vulnerability in his face steals her breath. You should. I'm poison, Nia. Everything I touch turns to ash. That's not what I see. I see a man who built an empire from ruins. Who treats his people with respect. Who makes sure his club is safe, pays his staff triple industry standard, who, she reaches up, cups his face with both hands. Who's been alone for so long he forgot what warmth feels like. I can't protect you if you stay. Then stop trying to protect me and start trusting me. I'm not Gia. I'm not fragile. His hands come up, cover hers. No. You're a hurricane. And I'm walking straight into you knowing I'll never survive. We'll survive together. He kisses her then, not gentle, not careful, but like a man drowning and she's oxygen. His hands tangle in her braids, her nails dig into his shoulders, and 5 years of ice meets equatorial heat and detonates. They stumble backward, his shoulders hitting the window, the city spinning below them while they consume each other. When they finally break apart, both breathing hard, Hyunwoo rests his forehead against hers. This is real, he whispers. Whatever this is between us, it's real and I can't take it back. Good. I don't want you to. Loving Nia is a strategic disaster. Every meeting with his syndicate partners they mention her. Every negotiation her presence lurks like a variable he can't control. Sung-ho knows, everyone knows, and knowledge is ammunition in their world. But Hyunwoo finds he doesn't care as much as he should. She's changed Aurora Pulse's entire identity. What was once an exclusive playground for criminals has become a cultural phenomenon. The latest development, she's partnered with Korean producers to blend Afrofusion with K-hip-hop, creating something neither African nor Korean but gloriously both. The collaboration attracts attention from the culture ministry, legitimate attention, the kind that could transform Hyunwoo's image from underworld boss to innovative entrepreneur. It's brilliant, his accountant reports. She's inadvertently giving us a legitimacy we couldn't buy. You could start transitioning the syndicate toward legal operations using the club as the flagship. Redemption through rhythm. The irony would be beautiful if it weren't so dangerous. The phantom blades strike again at a business summit Hyunwoo's attending. Nothing violent, just Sung-ho appearing beside him at the bar, smile like a blade. Heard you're keeping exotic pets now, Sung-ho says conversationally. African isn't she? Bold choice, importing flavor from so far away. Every muscle in Hyunwoo's body goes taut. Careful. Or what? You'll start another war? Sung-ho sips his whiskey. I remember the last woman you tried to protect. Didn't end well for her, did it? Paint dries slowly but blood dries fast. Hyunwoo's hand is on Sung-ho's throat before conscious thought, slamming him against the marble wall. Around them the summit freezes. Bodyguards reach for weapons. The air crystallizes with violence. Touch her, Hyunwoo hisses, and I will burn your entire organization to the ground. No mercy. No survivors. Just ash. Sung-ho grins despite the hand crushing his windpipe. There he is. The rabid dog under the suit. She's already made you weak, Kwan. Predictable. And predictable men die. Jae-sung's hand on his shoulder breaks the spell. Hyunwoo releases Sung-ho, steps back, but the damage is done. He's shown his cards. Confirmed the leverage. That night, he takes Nia to a private restaurant in Gangnam, one that closes its doors for him, where they eat bulgogi and banchan while she tells him about Lagos nightlife, about growing up watching her father hustle, about her dreams of building a label that amplifies African voices globally. You could do it from here, he says. Seoul's music industry is global. With your connections and my resources. Are you offering to be my business partner? I'm offering to be whatever you need. She reaches across the table, takes his hand. What I need is for you to trust me. Really trust me. Stop trying to shelter me from your world and let me stand beside you in it. It's too dangerous. Life is dangerous. Love is dangerous. Making art is dangerous. Her eyes pin him, fierce and uncompromising. I choose the danger, Hyunwoo. I choose you. Stop choosing for me. He's saved from answering by his phone. Jae-sung, voice tight with urgency. Boss, we've got a situation. Someone just tried to grab Nia's friend, the photographer who's been documenting her sets. Mina. We intercepted, but it was close. Too close. Nia hears enough to go pale. Mina? Hyunwoo's already standing, throwing bills on the table. She's safe. My people have her. But we need to move. Now. In the car racing through Seoul's neon night, Nia is silent beside him, terror and fury warring on her face. He takes her hand and she grips it like a lifeline. This is what I was trying to prevent, he says quietly. I know. But Hyunwoo. She turns to him, eyes bright with unshed tears. I'd rather face this with you than be safe without you. Do you understand? I'd rather burn. And God help him, he does understand. Because he'd burn the whole city for her. They reach the safe house where Mina is being guarded, shaken but unhurt, crying into Nia's shoulder about the men who tried to push her into a van in Hongdae. Hyunwoo makes calls. By morning, Sung-ho will know that retaliation is coming. This isn't just business anymore. It's personal. It's war. Later, back at his penthouse with Nia refusing to leave his side, they stand on the balcony watching Seoul breathe beneath them. She's wearing his shirt, her braids loose, looking simultaneously vulnerable and invincible. I need to tell you something, Hyunwoo says. About Jia. About what happened. You don't have to. I do. He pulls her close, her back against his chest, his chin on her shoulder. She died because I was arrogant. Because I thought I could have both, the empire and the love. I thought I was smart enough, powerful enough, to protect her from the consequences of my life. I was wrong. And you think you're making the same mistake with me? Yes. Nia turns in his arms, faces him fully. The difference is Jia didn't know your world. I do. I see it, I understand it, and I'm choosing it anyway. Choosing you anyway. She kisses him soft, achingly gentle. You don't have to protect me from reality. Just stand with me inside it. He kisses her back, deeper, a promise and a prayer. Then we stand together. And when Sung-ho comes, because he will, we end this. Permanently. Together, she agrees. Above them, stars struggle through Seoul's light pollution. Below, the empire holds its breath. The storm is coming. But this time Hyunwoo won't face it alone. War in the modern underworld isn't fought with armies in the streets. It's economic strangulation, information warfare, surgical strikes that look like accidents. Hyunwoo knows this game intimately, he wrote half the rules. But Nia introduces a new strategy. Culture. You can't just fight Sung-ho with his own weapons, she argues during a strategy session in his penthouse war room, surrounded by Jae-sung and his top lieutenants who are visibly uncomfortable taking advice from a DJ. He expects violence, expects intimidation. Give him something he can't fight, legitimacy. Public support. Make yourself untouchable by making yourself indispensable. Explain, Jae-sung says, skeptical but listening. Nia pulls up her laptop, shows them analytics. Aurora Pulse is trending globally. K-pop stars, international celebrities, they're coming to Seoul specifically for my sets. The Culture Ministry is talking about featuring the club in their Modern Korea campaign. You're sitting on a goldmine of soft power and you're not using it. Soft power doesn't stop bullets, one of the lieutenants mutters. No, but it makes bullets politically impossible. Nia looks at Hyunwoo. Sung-ho operates in shadows. Pull him into the light, he's just another thug. But you? You could be a cultural innovator. A bridge between African and Korean music scenes. Someone too valuable, too visible to touch. It's audacious. Brilliant. Exactly the kind of unconventional thinking Hyunwoo built his empire on. We'd need partners, he says slowly. Legitimate ones. Music labels, cultural organizations, government connections. I have labels calling me daily. Let me make introductions. Over the next week, Nia transforms from DJ to diplomat. She brokers a meeting with JYP Entertainment, pitches a collaboration between their artists and African producers. She connects Hyunwoo with the Nigerian Cultural Embassy, suggests a cultural exchange program hosted at Aurora Pulse. She even gets CNN International interested in a story about Seoul's emerging Afrofusion scene. It's working. The syndicate's revenue streams begin diversifying, legitimate investment opportunities, licensing deals, sponsorships. Hyunwoo finds himself in meetings with people who wear suits without shoulder holsters, who discuss market share instead of territory. But Sung-ho isn't idle. The jealousy comes from an unexpected angle. Marcus Chin, a British Nigerian producer Nia worked with in London, arrives in Seoul unannounced. They'd had a thing, brief, passionate, ultimately incompatible, 2 years ago. She'd ended it, he'd never quite moved on. He shows up backstage at Aurora Pulse during her Thursday set, all charm and expensive cologne, hugging her like the intervening years never happened. Nia, love, you've been holding out on me, Marcus grins, accent posh London via Lagos. Seoul? Really? When did you start slumming in? He looks around the VIP section, and his eyes widen seeing the clientele. Okay, not slumming. This is serious money. Marcus, what are you doing here? Heard you were making waves. Thought I'd see if you wanted to collaborate like old times. His smile has an edge. Unless you're too busy with your new friends. You seen Hyunwoo? Of course he has. Hyunwoo's been a constant presence lately, more protective since the attempt on Mina. And Marcus, sharp as ever, has read the terrain. It's complicated, Nia says. It always is with you. But there's hurt beneath his flippancy. Look, I'm staying at the Conrad. If you want to talk about music or anything else. He leaves his card. Nia pockets it, feeling vaguely guilty without quite knowing why. Hyunwoo notices. Of course he does. After her set, in the private elevator to his penthouse, his silence is heavy. Who was he? Hyunwoo finally asks. An old friend. Producer I worked with in London. Just a friend? Honesty feels important. We dated. Briefly. It ended 2 years ago. Hyunwoo's jaw tightens. And he came to Seoul, why? To see me, I guess. To talk about collaboration. Does he know about us? There wasn't time to explain. But I will if he asks. Hyunwoo stops the elevator between floors, turns to face her. His eyes are dark, possessive, vulnerable in ways that make her heart stumble. I don't share, Nia. I can't. I won't. I'm not asking you to. There's nothing with Marcus. There hasn't been for years. But there was. He's touched you, known you, and I. He stops, running a hand through his hair in rare frustration. I shouldn't care. It's irrational. But the thought of someone else having had you, it makes me want to burn things. Nia reaches up, frames his face with her hands. Listen to me. That was before. This is now. You're not competing with anyone because there is no competition. You already won. He kisses her like he's trying to brand himself onto her soul, desperate and claiming. When he pulls back, his voice is rough. If he touches you, he won't. I won't let him. But the jealousy festers. 2 nights later, the kidnapping attempt happens. Nia's leaving a meeting with a Korean music producer in Apgujeong, her security detail trailing discreetly. 1 minute she's walking to the car, the next, a van screeches up, doors flying open, masked men grabbing for her. She screams, fights back. Lagos streets taught her not to go easy, but there are 3 of them and they're strong, professional. One gets an arm around her waist, lifting her off the ground. Then gunfire. Not at her. Into the air. Hyunwoo's security materializing from nowhere, weapons drawn, tactical precision overwhelming the kidnappers. The man holding Nia drops her, runs. His partners follow. The van speeds away, tires shrieking. Nia collapses on the pavement, adrenaline turning her limbs to water. Jae-sung is there, checking her for injuries, radioing for backup. And then Hyunwoo arrives, screeching up in his Aston Martin, vaulting out before it fully stops. He doesn't say anything. Just pulls her into his arms, holding her so tight she can barely breathe, his whole body shaking. I'm okay, she whispers. I'm okay, they didn't get me. They tried. His voice cracks. They fucking tried, and if my men had been seconds slower. But they weren't. I'm here. I'm safe. He pulls back and there are tears in his eyes, actual tears from the Ice King who never cries. I can't do this. I can't watch you get hurt because of me. I can't lose you like I lost her. You won't. You don't know that. No one knows that. He's spiraling, 5 years of trauma crashing over him. Maybe you should go. Back to Lagos, London, anywhere that isn't here. Take the money, take the contracts, just go. Be safe. Hyunwoo. I love you. The words explode out of him like a confession torn from his chest. I love you and that's why you have to leave. Because everyone I love dies and I can't watch that happen again. I can't survive it. Nia grabs his face, forces him to look at her. I love you too, you beautiful, stubborn, traumatized man. And I'm not leaving. We're going to end this. Together. We're going to end Sung-ho, end the threat, and then we're going to build something beautiful where all this ugliness used to be. How? However we have to. But Hyun-woo. She kisses him, soft and fierce. I need you to promise me something. Promise you won't push me away to protect me. Promise we face this together. He searches her face, finding certainty there. Finally, slowly he nods. Together. But we end this soon. I'm done letting him threaten you. Then let's plan. Let's be smart. And let's finish this war. That night in his penthouse, they don't make love so much as confirm each other's existence. Desperate, clinging, alive. Afterward, wrapped in silk sheets with soul glittering below, Hyun-woo holds her close and makes a vow. Sung-ho dies. The phantom blades end. And you and I? We get to be happy. I don't care what it costs. Nia presses her ear to his chest, listens to his heartbeat, strong and steady. Then we make it happen. The war's endgame is beginning. And this time they'll write the ending themselves. The gala is supposed to be their triumph. A celebration of Aurora Pulse's first year as Seoul's premier cultural destination. A showcase of the Afro-Korean fusion movement Nia's helped pioneer. Politicians, celebrities, international press, all gathered in their finest while Nia spins a set that's been months in the making. She should have known Sung-ho would choose this moment. The night begins beautifully. The club has been transformed into something magical. Traditional Korean lanterns mixed with African Kent cloth, LED installations that respond to her music, a guest list that reads like a who's who of Seoul's elite and global cultural ambassadors. Nia wears gold, a dress that flows like liquid metal, her braids adorned with amber beads that catch the light like captured fire. Hyun-woo is magnificent in a white dinner jacket, playing the host with effortless charm, but his eyes never stray far from her. They've been inseparable for weeks, planning not just the gala but their future. Talks of her label, of legitimizing more of his business, of maybe, eventually something permanent between them. She's mid-set, the crowd in perfect flow when the lights cut. Not a power failure. Too precise. Emergency lighting kicks in, bathing everything in crimson. And then the gunfire. It comes from multiple directions. The balconies, the VIP sections, coordinated and professional. Screaming erupts. Bodies drop. Some hit, most diving for cover. Nia's security rushes the stage, but she's already moving, training kicking in, dropping behind the DJ booth's reinforced panel. Through the chaos, she sees Hyun-woo, gun drawn, firing back, his men forming defensive positions. This isn't just an attack. It's an invasion. Then she sees Sung-ho himself, emerging through the smoke like a demon from hell, flanked by phantom blade enforcers. He's heading straight for Hyun-woo's position. Nia does something insane. She crawls to her laptop, still running, still connected to the club's sound system. She triggers a preloaded track, a piercing siren mixed with strobing lights she designed for emergencies, maxing out the volume and frequency until it's physically painful. The attackers falter, covering their ears. In the confusion, Hyun-woo's security gains ground. But Sung-ho adapts. He spots Nia behind the booth and his smile is pure malice. He changes direction, coming for her. Hyun-woo sees. Screams her name. Starts running, but he's too far and Sung-ho has a gun and... bang. The shot goes wide because someone, Jae-sung, tackles Sung-ho from the side. They grapple. More gunfire. Nia can't see clearly through the smoke and panic, but then Hyun-woo is there, pulling her up, running with her through the back corridors. Jae-sung, she gasps. He'll hold them. We need to move. They burst into the parking garage, into Hyun-woo's car, tires screaming as they launch into Seoul's night. Behind them, sirens. Police finally too late. Hyun-woo drives like he's racing death, checking mirrors, taking random turns until they're sure no one's following. Then he heads to a location Nia doesn't recognize. A nondescript building in Uedo, underground parking, elevator that requires 3 different biometric scans. A bunker. His safe house. The bunker is a relic from his father's paranoid days, but Hyun-woo's kept it maintained. Reinforced walls, independent power and water, enough supplies to survive a siege. He's never needed it until now. Inside, he finally lets himself check Nia for injuries, hands shaking as they roam her arms, her face, her body. Are you hurt? Did any bullets? I'm fine. Hyun-woo, I'm fine. But she's trembling too, adrenaline crash hitting hard. He pulls her into his arms, buries his face in her neck, and for a moment just breathes her in. Alive. Safe. Is Jae-sung, Nia whispers. Is he? Hyun-woo's phone buzzes. Text from an unknown number, but the code phrase is right. Dragon sleeps in the east. Jae-sung's emergency signal. Alive. He made it out, Hyun-woo says, relief flooding through him. Another text. Casualty reports, damage assessment, police situation. 5 civilians injured, none critical. 8 Phantom Blade members captured. Sung-ho escaped. And then the betrayal. A video file sent from Jae-sung. Security footage from 3 days ago. Lee Sang-min, one of Hyun-woo's most trusted lieutenants, meeting with Sung-ho in a parking garage. Exchanging an envelope. Talking with the ease of long collaboration. Sang-min. 10 years in the syndicate. Hyun-woo had trusted him with passwords, with routes, with everything. The rage that fills him is white-hot, clarifying. He's been playing defense while a traitor fed Sung-ho their every move. Who is it? Nia asks, reading his expression. Someone who's about to regret being born. He makes calls, voice cold as death. Jae-sung, I need Sang-min found. Alive. I want to look him in the eyes. For 3 days they live in the bunker while Hyun-woo's empire reorganizes outside. The betrayal runs deeper than Sang-min, 2 other associates, an accountant, even a security contractor. Sung-ho had been patient, building a network of informants while Hyun-woo thought himself untouchable. But in the bunker's isolation, something shifts between them. Without the empire's demands, without the constant threat, it's just Hyun-woo and Nia. They talk for hours, about her childhood in Lagos, her father's dreams, her mother's strength. About his mother who died when he was young, his father's brutality, the night he decided to be different from the violence that made him. I wanted to be better, he admits one night, lying together on the bunker's surprisingly comfortable bed. I thought I could keep the power but lose the cruelty. Build something my father never could, an empire of respect, not just fear. You did, Nia says softly. Your people are loyal because you treat them well. The club thrives because you created something beautiful. You're not your father, Hyun-woo. Then why does this keep happening? Why do people I trust keep betraying me? Because you're still operating in his world. His rules. His shadows. She rolls over, props herself on an elbow to look at him. But you don't have to. We could leave. Sell the syndicate, keep the club, go somewhere new. Build something that's entirely yours, not inherited, not tainted. You'd leave with me? Leave Seoul, your career momentum, all of it? My career is me and my music. That goes anywhere. And you? She kisses him, slow and deep. You're the rhythm I can't shake. Where you go, I go. They make love then, and it's different from before. Not desperate or claiming, but tender, reverent, 2 people promising each other forever in the language of bodies and breath. Afterward, Hyun-woo stares at the bunker ceiling and makes a decision. When this ends, when Sung-ho is dealt with, I'm out. I'll transition the syndicate to Jae-sung, keep the legitimate businesses, and we disappear. Somewhere warm. Somewhere we can breathe. Promise? I promise. No more ghosts. Just us and the future. But first they have to survive the present. On the 4th day, Jae-sung reports that Sang-min has been found. And Sung-ho has made a demand, a meeting. Neutral ground. Just the 2 of them. It's a trap. Obviously. Sung-ho doesn't do fair fights. But Hyun-woo has spent 4 days planning, and he's done being reactive. Set it up, he tells Jae-sung. But we play it my way. And Jae-sung? This ends tonight. Nia grabs his hand. Together, remember? I can't bring you into. Together. Or I swear to God I'll follow you anyway and make it worse. He looks at this impossible woman who's upended his entire existence, who faces bullets and kidnapping with the same fierce determination she brings to her music, and he realizes something fundamental. Trying to protect her by pushing her away is just another form of control. Real love means trusting her to stand beside him even into danger. Together, he agrees. But you follow my lead. And if I say run, you run. Deal? Deal. They arm up, prep exit strategies, and prepare for the endgame. Seoul's underworld is about to learn what happens when you threaten the Ice King's heart. The purge is surgical and merciless. Sang-min breaks within 2 hours of interrogation, not from torture, but from the realization that his betrayal has accomplished nothing except his own destruction. He gives up everything. Sung-ho's safe houses, his financial networks, the names of every corrupt official on his payroll, every secret the Phantom Blades thought buried. Why? Hyun-woo asks, genuinely curious. I paid you well. Trusted you. Why turn? Sang-min, bleeding from Jae-sung's earlier persuasion, laughs bitterly. Because you went soft. Because you started caring about a woman more than the empire. Because you forgot that in our world, sentiment is suicide. Sung-ho promised me your territory when you fell. And now I'm a dead man either way. At least Sung-ho would have made it quick. Hyunwoo stands. You're right. You are a dead man. But I'm not my father. I won't torture you for weeks. I'll just take everything you love first. He nods to Jae-sung. His assets, his family's accounts, everything, seized and redistributed to the families of people hurt in the gala attack. Then exile. Put him on a boat to somewhere his name means nothing. Let him live with being nobody. It's a crueler punishment than death, and they all know it. With Sangmin's intelligence, Hyunwoo moves like a grandmaster executing checkmate in stages. He freezes Sung-ho's accounts through banking contacts. Exposes his corrupt police connections to internal affairs with documented evidence. Leaks information about drug shipments to legitimate authorities, cutting off revenue streams. But Sung-ho's cornered now, which makes him desperate. Desperate men are unpredictable. The media war starts when Sung-ho releases a statement to Seoul's tabloids. Lies about Aurora Pulse being a money laundering front, about Hyunwoo trafficking women, about Nia being complicit. It's character assassination designed to isolate them socially. Nia's response is genius. She goes live on Instagram with 2 million followers watching, sitting at a piano in the bunker, and she tells the truth, not all of it but enough. She talks about falling in love with a complicated man. About Seoul's underground culture. About how Aurora Pulse became a haven for artistic expression. How the Afro-Korean fusion movement is changing global music. She doesn't deny Hyunwoo's past. But she reframes it, we all have shadows. The question is what we build in the light. The live stream goes viral. #StandWithNia trends. K-pop idols she's worked with defend her. The Culture Ministry issues a statement supporting Aurora Pulse's cultural contributions. Public sentiment shifts faster than Sung-ho can counter. But he has one more card to play. He kidnaps Mina, Nia's photographer friend. The ransom isn't money, it's Nia herself. Betrayed. Her life for Mina's. No, Hyunwoo says flatly when the message arrives. Absolutely not. We'll find her another way. He'll kill her if I don't show. He'll kill you both anyway. It's a trap, Nia. I know it's a trap. That's why we're going to spring it. Together. They plan for 36 hours straight. Not a rescue, an ambush. Using Sung-ho's trap against him, turning the meeting point into a kill box with Hyunwoo's forces positioned in advance. Nia will wear a wire, a tracker, and body armor under her clothes. Jae-sung's best men will be in position. The police, tipped anonymously, will arrive precisely 6 minutes after the confrontation starts. Enough time for Hyunwoo's justice, not enough for Sung-ho to escape. It's risky. But Mina's life is on the line, and Nia refuses to let another person suffer because of her. The exchange point is an abandoned warehouse in Incheon, cliché but strategically chosen. Multiple exits, sightlines, eco-friendly for gunfire. Nia arrives at midnight in Hyunwoo's Aston Martin, alone as instructed. Except she's not alone. Jae-sung is in the trunk, and 30 of Hyunwoo's best are positioned around the perimeter. Sung-ho emerges from shadows, Mina bound and gagged beside him. He's handsome in a cruel way, sharp features twisted by years of violence. The songbird comes to the cat, he grins. How noble. Let her go. You wanted me, here I am. Oh, I want more than you. I want Kwon Hyunwoo broken. And killing you? That'll do it nicely. Then why wait? I'm here, defenseless. She spreads her arms. Do it. He moves closer, gun rising. And Hyunwoo's voice cuts through the darkness. Touch her and die. Lights explode. Hyunwoo's men materialize from every angle, weapons trained. Sung-ho's backup tries to respond, but they're outnumbered, outgunned, outmaneuvered. Sung-ho grabs Mina, uses her as a shield. I'll kill her. Oh. Nia moves. She's been learning from Jae-sung during bunker days, not how to fight but how to create openings. She triggers a flashbang she's been palming, tosses it high. The explosion of light and sound disorients everyone for crucial seconds. Hyunwoo doesn't waste them. He's on Sung-ho before the man can recover, gun flying from his grip, Mina pulled to safety by Jae-sung. And then it's just two men who've hated each other for years, fists and fury, settling old scores. Hyunwoo wins. Of course he does. He pins Sung-ho to the concrete, gun to his temple, and for a moment the old him, the one who answered betrayal with bullets, surfaces. Hyunwoo. Nia's voice, soft but clear. Don't. You promised me. We're better than this. He looks at her. Looks at Sung-ho. The sirens are getting closer, police arriving on schedule. You're right, Hyunwoo says finally. He pistol whips Sung-ho unconscious, steps back. He's not worth losing you. When the police arrive, they find Sung-ho and his men gift-wrapped with evidence of their crimes. Hyunwoo and Nia are long gone. 3 days later, after the news breaks about the Phantom Blade's arrest, after the charges against Aurora Pulse are publicly dropped, Hyunwoo takes Nia to a yacht anchored in the Han River. Its sunset, Seoul's skyline gilded in gold, and the world feels briefly like it could be gentle. I need to tell you something, he says as they stand on the deck, champagne untouched beside them. About my plans. About us. I'm listening. I'm done. With the syndicate, with the underworld, with all of it. Jae-sung will take over operations. He's earned it and he's better suited for the transition I want. We'll legitimize everything we can, sunset the rest. Aurora Pulse and the cultural businesses stay, but the Shadow Empire? Gone. Nia's eyes widen. You're serious. I've never been more serious. You made me remember what it feels like to want something beyond survival. Beyond revenge. I want a future, Nia. With you. Wherever that takes us. She kisses him, tasting salt air and possibility. Lagos. I want to go home, build my label there. But with you beside me. Partner in art and life. I'll follow you anywhere. Even to Lagos traffic and unpredictable power? Even there. He smiles, genuine and unguarded. You owned my soul the first night you played my club. The least I can do is follow it home. They make love on that yacht while soul glitters around them, two people choosing each other over empires, rhythm over rules, love over everything that tried to destroy them. The war is ending. But the best part is just beginning. Freedom has a price, and Sung-ho's arrest doesn't mean the Phantom Blades are finished. His second-in-command, Park Tae-young, is younger, smarter, and more vicious than his predecessor. Where Sung-ho relied on intimidation, Tae-young uses strategy. The final blow comes disguised as legitimacy. Tae-young orchestrates a hostile takeover attempt of Aurora Pulse through shell corporations and legal maneuvering, exploiting a loophole in the club's business structure. He's petitioned Seoul's business court to freeze Hyunwoo's assets pending an investigation into fraud allegations, completely fabricated, but damaging enough to tie everything up for months. Is brilliant, bloodless. The kind of attack Hyunwoo can't counter with force. He's trying to starve us out, Jae-sung explains, spreading documents across Hyunwoo's penthouse desk. No access to operating capital, legal fees draining reserves, and by the time it's resolved, Aurora Pulse will be valueless, and he can swoop in as the legitimate buyer. There has to be a way to fight this. There is. But you won't like it. Jae-sung's plan is risky. Use their remaining assets to bait Tae-young into a private auction for Aurora Pulse's sale. Fake of course, but convincing enough to draw him and his key people to one location. Then, with evidence of their conspiracy exposed mid-transaction, trigger a raid by authorities already briefed on the Phantom Blade's continued operations. It requires perfect timing. Perfect deception. And it puts everyone in the room at risk. If this goes wrong, Hyunwoo says slowly, we lose everything. The club, our freedom, possibly our lives. If we do nothing, we lose anyway. At least this way we control the ending. Nia enters, carrying coffee, catches the tail end of the conversation. Control the ending how? They explain. Her face goes through a progression of expressions. Alarm, consideration, determination. I can help, she says. Music, tech, distraction. I've been working on something with the sound system, ways to integrate surveillance. If we're going to be in that room anyway, let me weaponize what I'm good at. The auction is scheduled at a warehouse in Songdo, supposedly neutral territory. Tae-young brings 8 men. Hyunwoo brings 6, including Jae-sung and Nia. The tension is immediate, 2 groups of predators pretending civility. Nia has spent 3 days wiring the warehouse with hidden cameras, directional microphones, and a sound system that looks decorative but is actually a distributed weapon. If things go violent, she can trigger frequencies that disorient, strobes that blind, create chaos that Hyunwoo's smaller force can exploit. The auction begins. Tae-young plays the part of legitimate businessman perfectly, discussing terms, making offers, all while his men position themselves strategically around the room. Hyunwoo matches him, calm and controlled, but Nia can see the coiled violence in his shoulders. Then the evidence. Jae-sung accidentally projects the wrong file, not auction documents, but recorded conversations between Tae-young and corrupt officials, plans to eliminate Hyunwoo once the sale completes, schemes that tie the Phantom Blades to everything from drug trafficking to political blackmail. Tae-young's face goes cold. You're not selling. This is a setup. Very astute, Hyunwoo says. and in approximately 3 minutes the authorities will arrive with that evidence. You can leave now and we'll pretend this never happened, or you can try something stupid and guarantee your imprisonment. Taeyang chooses stupid. His men draw weapons. Hyunwoo's respond. But before shots fire, Nia triggers her system. The sound hits like a physical force, subsonic bass frequencies mixed with ultrasonic pitches that disrupt equilibrium. Half of Taeyang's men drop their weapons, clutching their ears. The strobes ignite, turning the warehouse into a disorienting nightmare of light and shadow. In the chaos, Hyunwoo's training shows. He and Jae-sung move like dancers in violence, disarming opponents, controlling the space. Nia stays behind cover, adjusting frequencies, creating pockets of calm for their side while hammering Taeyang's forces with sensory overload. But Taeyang himself fights through it, charging at Hyunwoo with a blade. They grapple, brutal and close, the knife seeking flesh. Hyunwoo blocks, redirects, but Taeyang is skilled, desperate, and he manages to slice across Hyunwoo's ribs, shallow but bleeding. Nia screams and the sound system responds to her voice, amplifying into a physical shockwave that staggers everyone. In that moment of collective stun, Jae-sung gets his shot, not lethal but perfectly placed in Taeyang's shoulder, spinning him away from Hyunwoo. Then sirens. Real ones. The authorities burst in, tactical teams sweeping the warehouse. Taeyang and his remaining men are surrounded, arrested. Hyunwoo's hands go up in surrender, but Jae-sung has already passed the evidence files to the lead detective, proof of cooperation, of being victims rather than participants. It works. Taeyang is dragged away screaming threats. Hyunwoo is questioned, released. The Phantom Blade's attempt on Aurora Pulse is exposed, their organization dismantled. Outside, as EMTs patch Hyunwoo's ribs, he pulls Nia close. You turn music into a weapon. That was insane? Reckless? Brilliant? You're absolutely brilliant. She kisses him, tasting copper and adrenaline. We won. It's over. Almost over. One more thing I need to do. 2 weeks later, Hyunwoo calls a meeting of the Velvet Viper Syndicate's core leadership. 20 men and women who've built the empire alongside him, who've bled for it, who expect to continue bleeding for it. He tells them the truth, he's out. The syndicate will be dissolved over 6 months, its legitimate holdings reorganized under Jae-sung's leadership as a proper corporation. The illegal operations will be shuttered, debts forgiven, territories ceded to neutral parties. Anyone who wants to stay in the new structure can. Anyone who doesn't will receive generous severance and clean exits. It's unprecedented. Syndicate bosses don't retire. They die or get overthrown. You're serious, one lieutenant says, stunned. You're just walking away? I'm choosing to live instead of just survive, Hyunwoo responds. And I'm giving all of you the same choice. This life, our father's life, it ends with us. We can be the generation that transforms instead of perpetuates. There's resistance, arguments, but ultimately respect wins. Hyunwoo has earned enough loyalty that they'll follow him even into peace. Jae-sung pulls him aside afterward. You know this makes you a target for every ambitious bastard who thinks you're weak now. Let them think it. I'll be too far away to care. Where are you going? Hyunwoo looks at Nia waiting by the window and he smiles, unguarded, happy, free. Wherever the music takes me. Lagos welcomes her home like a lover. The chaos, the heat, the million overlapping rhythms of a city that never stops hustling. After Seoul's precision, it's like stepping from air conditioning into a sauna. Overwhelming. Exhilarating. Perfect. Hyunwoo experiences culture shock in waves. The traffic makes Seoul's rush hour look like Sunday meditation. The power cuts mid-meeting require generator negotiations. The casual warmth of strangers who want to know his business, offer advice, pull him into conversations. It's the opposite of Seoul's polite distance. But he adapts. Because he's with her and she's home and her joy is infectious. They set up Pulse Records in a renovated warehouse in Victoria Island, state-of-the-art equipment funded by Hyunwoo's clean exit from Seoul, walls painted with murals that honor African music legends. Nia's vision is simple. Find African artists who are brilliant but unseen, give them global platforms, keep creative control in African hands. The first signee is a teenage producer from Enugu who makes Afro house that sounds like the future. The second is a South African singer whose voice could shatter diamonds. Within 3 months, Pulse Records has a roster of 15 artists and a distribution deal with a major label that lets them maintain independence. Hyunwoo throws himself into the business side. Contracts, negotiations, logistics. He's good at it, better than even he expected. Turns out empire-building skills transfer regardless of the empire. And doing it legitimately, building something that creates rather than controls, it heals parts of him he didn't know were broken. They buy a house in Lekki, modern, spacious, with a studio for Nia and an office for Hyunwoo. His mother, who he hasn't seen in 3 years, visits from Busan. She's wary of Nia at first, this foreign woman who pulled her son from his destined path, until she hears Nia play. Music, apparently, transcends skepticism. She makes you happy, his mother says in Korean, watching Hyunwoo watch Nia teach neighborhood kids basic DJ skills. Actually happy, not just satisfied. I was afraid I'd never see this in your eyes. I was afraid I'd never feel it, he admits. But happiness doesn't mean conflict-free. The attempt comes 4 months after their relocation. A remnant faction of the Phantom Blades, true believers who refuse to accept their organization's end, track Hyunwoo to Lagos. 3 men, professional but desperate, trying to restore their honor by eliminating the man who destroyed them. They break into the Lekki house at 2 a.m. Silent, efficient. They make it to the bedroom door before Hyunwoo's instincts, never fully dormant, wake him. He doesn't think, just moves. Shields Nia, grabs the weapon he keeps hidden despite promising himself he wouldn't need it. The fight is brief, brutal. One assailant he disarms. Another Jae-sung's training pays off against. The third almost succeeds, blade inches from Nia's sleeping form, until Hyunwoo tackles him through the bedroom window. They land in the garden, glass and blood. The assailant's arm breaks. Hyunwoo's knuckles split. And for a moment the old rage surfaces, the part of him that knows how to end threats permanently. But Nia's there at the broken window screaming for him. And her voice pulls him back from the edge. Again. He restrains the assailant instead of killing him. Calls the police. Lets the legitimate authorities handle it. Later, after statements and bandages, Nia holds him while he shakes with adrenaline come down. I thought we were free, he whispers. I thought leaving would be enough. We are free. This is just the last echo. It'll fade. What if it doesn't? What if I can never escape what I was? She takes his face in her hands. You're not what you were. You're what you're becoming. And that man is good. He's building beautiful things. One bad night doesn't erase 4 months of beautiful days. She's right. The police investigation reveals the assailants were acting alone, the last desperate gasp of a defunct organization. No larger threat. Just ghosts that needed exorcising. And Hyunwoo decides to exorcise them publicly. Nia arranges it, a feature in Rolling Stone about Pulse Records and the unlikely partnership behind it. She tells them her side, the DJ who fell for a complicated man and chose love over safety. And for the first time Hyunwoo tells his. Not all of it, but enough. He talks about growing up in violence, inheriting an empire he never wanted, the woman he lost and the walls he built. He talks about meeting Nia and learning that walls can become bridges. He discusses the decision to walk away, the challenges of legitimacy, the joy of building something that creates rather than destroys. The article goes viral. From Seoul's underworld to Africa's music revolution, the redemption of Kwon Hyunwoo becomes a surprising cultural touchstone, proof that change is possible, that people aren't the sum of their worst moments. It also makes them famous in unexpected ways. TED Talk invitations. Speaking requests from business schools about ethical transitions. Nia's bookings explode, Coachella headliner, Glastonbury, a global tour that Pulse Records helps her negotiate on her terms. Through it all, Hyunwoo is her anchor and she is his purpose. 8 months after arriving in Lagos, Pulse Records hosts its first major festival, Rhythm Bridge, a 3-day celebration of Afro-global fusion in Victoria Island. Artists from 20 countries headlined by Nia, showcasing exactly the kind of cross-cultural collaboration she's been championing. The final night, she brings Hyunwoo on stage. Not to perform, he can't carry a tune to save his life. But to speak. I was dead for 5 years, he tells 15,000 people, voice amplified across the festival grounds. Not physically but in every way that matters. I built an empire on ice and called it success. And then this woman. He gestures to Nia, radiant beside him, showed me that rhythm is life. That opening yourself to others, to joy, to love, even when it terrifies you, that's the only way to actually live. He turns to her. You saved me, Nia Adebayo. You owned my soul that first night, and you've treated it with more care than I ever did. Thank you. She kisses him in front of 15,000 witnesses, and the crowd erupts. Her final set of the festival is transcendent, a journey through every place she's been, every influence she's absorbed, building to a climax that feels like the universe achieving perfect harmony. And watching from side stage, Hyunwoo knows with absolute certainty, this is where he was always meant to be. Not ruling. Not controlling. Just loving and being loved in return. The empire died so he could finally live. 2 years after Seoul. Pulse Records has offices in Lagos, London and Sao Paulo. 15 artists signed, 3 Grammy nominations, a documentary about their first year that premiered at Sundance. Nia's global tour broke attendance records. Her latest album debuted at #1 in 14 countries. But the best moments are still the quiet ones. Like now, dawn in their new home in Muizenberg, South Africa, a coastal town where Table Mountain meets the ocean and the sunrise looks like God showing off. They relocated here 6 months ago, close enough to Lagos for business, far enough for peace. Hyunwoo emerges onto the balcony with coffee, wearing linen pants and a t-shirt, looking nothing like the Ice King who once ruled Seoul's shadows. He's grown his hair longer. Smiles easily. Laughs at her terrible Korean puns. Jae-sung called, he says, settling beside her. Aurora Pulse just won Venue of the Year from the International Music Awards. He wants us to attend the ceremony. Seoul? She takes the coffee, intertwines their fingers. You ready to go back? With you? I'd go anywhere. He pauses. Though I heard through contacts that Taeyong's trial finally concluded. 20 years, no parole. It really is over. How does that feel? Like I can finally breathe all the way out. He kisses her temple. What about you? Ready to see Aurora Pulse again? Only if we stop by my favorite Pojangmaka for tteokbokki. I've been craving it for months. They laugh, planning a trip that would have been impossible 2 years ago. Seoul is safe now, not because the city changed but because they did. The return to Seoul is surreal. Aurora Pulse has evolved without him. Jae-sung has expanded it into a global brand. Sister venues in Tokyo and New York, virtual concerts that reach millions, partnerships with major festivals. The club still pulses with energy, but it's lighter now, legal, a cultural institution rather than an underworld throne. At the awards ceremony, industry legends speak about Aurora Pulse's influence, about the Afro-Korean fusion movement it pioneered. Nia accepts the award and she thanks Jae-sung, the staff, but mostly she thanks Hyunwoo. For having the courage to change, she says, eyes finding his in the crowd. For proving that empires built on shadows can become stages for light. The standing ovation lasts 3 minutes. Afterward, they escape the afterparty taking Hyunwoo's old Aston Martin, still maintained by Jae-sung, for a midnight drive through Seoul. The city looks the same but feels different. Or maybe he feels different, and the city is just the city, indifferent to the personal revolutions happening within it. They stop at the Han River, the same spot where they once stood on his yacht and planned their future. Feels like a lifetime ago. Do you regret it? Nia asks. Giving up the power, the empire, all of it? Hyunwoo doesn't hesitate. I regret the years I wasted before you. But everything after? Best decision I ever made. Even the part where you moved to Lagos and suffered through 6-hour traffic jams? Even that. He pulls her close. You know what I learned? Power is easy. Any cruel bastard can intimidate people into submission. But building something with someone you love, creating instead of controlling, actually being happy? He kisses her, soft and sure. That takes real courage. And I'd rather have courage with you than power alone. Good answer. She grins. Because I'm not letting you go. Ever. You're stuck with me, Kwon Hyunwoo. I can't think of a better prison. It happens at a beach in Muizenberg, 3 months after the Seoul trip. Nothing elaborate, just sunset, sand and certainty. Hyunwoo has never been one for grand gestures. But he's learned from Nia that the best moments are honest ones. Marry me, he says, no preamble, as they walk barefoot where waves meet shore. Nia stops. What? Marry me. I know it's complicated, international marriage laws, your family, logistics. And I know I'm not the man your grandmother probably imagined for you. But I love you more than I thought possible to love anything. And I want to spend every day proving that love is stronger than any empire I ever built. She's crying, smiling, laughing all at once. You really suck at romantic speeches, you know that? Is that a yes? Of course it's a yes, you beautiful, awkward former crime lord. She jumps into his arms and he spins her, both of them laughing like kids. Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes. The ring, designed with Lagos gold and Korean jade, fits perfectly. They marry in 2 ceremonies. First in Lagos, at Nia's grandmother's church, with her extended family, cousins and aunties and uncles who welcome Hyunwoo with the overwhelming warmth of Nigerian acceptance. He stumbles through Yoruba greetings, They love him for trying. The reception is pure Lagos chaos. Afrobeat, jollof rice debates, dancing until dawn. Then in Busan, a traditional Korean ceremony that honors Hyunwoo's mother and the culture he almost abandoned. Nia in a hanbok, gorgeous and slightly uncomfortable in the formal silk, makes his mother cry with happiness. The Buddhist blessing feels like forgiveness for his violent past. Jae-sung is best man at both. "Never thought I'd see you this happy, boss," he says during the Busan reception. "She really did own your soul." "She gave me a new one," Hyunwoo corrects. "The old one was too broken to save." 1 year later, Nia headlines Coachella. Hyunwoo watches from side stage, same place he's watched her conquer every major festival on earth. But this time is special. Pulse Records is represented by 5 artists on the lineup, their sound reshaping global music, proving African voices don't need Western gatekeepers. In the crowd, 100,000 people move as one to Nia's rhythm. She's magnetic, powerful, fully herself in ways that still take his breath away. During her final song, a fusion piece that samples Korean gaegeum with Afrobeat drums, she calls him on stage. He protests, but she's insistent, and you don't say no to Nia when she's in her element. "This man," she tells Coachella, "taught me that love is the bravest revolution. That changing yourself is harder than conquering others. That redemption is possible if you're willing to do the work." She kisses him. And he makes really good coffee. The laughter from 100,000 people is surreal. Her final words before the last drop: "We're all just rhythms trying to find harmony. Don't let fear keep you from the music." The bass hits. The crowd explodes. And Hyunwoo holds his wife, this force of nature who shattered his ice and taught him to burn, and he knows with absolute certainty. He found his harmony. They split time between Musenberg and Lagos now. Pulse Records has grown beyond music. Artist residencies, production studios, youth programs teaching kids in Lagos and Johannesburg and Nairobi that their voices matter. Hyunwoo's officially a music executive, but really he's Nia's partner in every sense. They produce together, travel together, build together. Some nights, when she's creating new tracks, he brings her coffee and just watches her work. Still awed that this woman chose him, still grateful for every impossible day. Aurora Pulse became a chain. Jae-sung expanded it responsibly, ethically, keeping the spirit while losing the shadows. Hyunwoo remains a silent partner, proud of what it became without him. The Velvet Viper Syndicate is a memory. Most of its former members transitioned to legitimate work. A few didn't, but that's not Hyunwoo's burden anymore. Seoul's underworld moved on. New players, new games, same old violence. But it does so without him. One evening, on their Musenberg balcony with Table Mountain purple in the sunset, Nia plays him a track she's been working on. Something new, experimental, gorgeous. It samples Korean traditional music with Nigerian talking drums, creating a conversation between cultures, a rhythm that feels like home and adventure simultaneously. "What do you think?" she asks when it ends. Hyunwoo pulls her into his lap, holds her close. "I think it sounds like us. Different pieces that shouldn't work but create something better than either could alone." Poetic. "Lagos is making you soft. You made me soft. Lagos just gave me the space to enjoy it." They sit in comfortable silence, watching the sun paint the ocean gold, and Hyunwoo reflects on the impossible journey from Seoul's frozen empire to this warm, creative, love-filled life. He'd been taught that power was everything, that sentiment was weakness, that ice was safety. Nia taught him different. She taught him that rhythm is connection, that vulnerability is courage, that loving fully, even knowing it could destroy you, is the only way to truly live. The ruthless Mafia boss who ignored every woman died the night a fierce African DJ walked into his club. But from those ashes rose something better. A man who learned that the greatest empire is the one you build together, the strongest fortress is an open heart, and the most powerful weapon is choosing love when everything around you screams for war. "What are you thinking about?" Nia asks, reading his expression. "That I'd do it all again. Every mistake, every scar, every frozen year. Because they all led here. To you. To this." She kisses him and it tastes like future, bright, unbounded, beautiful. Somewhere in Seoul, Aurora Pulse is opening for another night of music and magic. Somewhere in Lagos, a kid Nia mentored is playing their first international gig. Somewhere in the world, broken people are learning they can heal. Empires are falling. Rhythms are rising. And on a balcony in South Africa, two people who were supposed to be impossible choose each other again, as they do every day, as they will until the music stops. Which, if Nia has anything to say about it, will be never. The rhythm never dies. It just finds new dancers. What did you think of their ending? Would you risk everything for a love like this? Drop your thoughts below and tell me your favorite moment from the story.